Glad to have you back. Now it's time to bring you up to speed with what's happening in the world of social media. And joining us, we have Perpetua Fasomi Peter, who looks amazing this morning. Good morning, Perpetua.
Good morning.
Nice top, I must say.
Good morning.
You. Good morning.
Oh,
You look
good.
Oh,
Thank
you
you.
look good, right? So what's happening in social media?
Well, a lot of things, you know, I mean, we get to that point where there are so many things to talk about, but we just have to streamline it to one or two issues, basically. All right, Helen, welcome to Social Media Buzz. I am Perpetua Fasomi Peter. Tundu, daughter of the late MK Abiola, the presumed winner of the 1993 election, has criticized her sister, Hafsat, for using their father's name to promote the presidential bid of Yahaya Bello, that's Kogi State Governor. Speaking in an interview, Hafsat, who is also the Director General of Yahaya Bello Presidential Campaign Organization, says she accepted the appointment because the Kogi governor shares some qualities with her father. Reacting to the development, Tundu said her sister does not have the right to exploit their father's name for Bello's benefit. In her words, it is not her right because it is not her name. It is our name, and it is also a name of future generations of Abiola yet unborn, who should be proud of a legacy. Everybody should just leave his name out of it, especially dishonesty, false equivalence, and cynical exploitation of a genuine struggle. It is nauseating. End of quote. Well, we'll check out how Nigerians reacted to her outburst on television, and then we'll start with Ayo Bankole. Ayo Bankole said, still on Hafsat Abiola as DG of Yahaya Bello campaign, where she compared Bello with MKO Abiola. I find this response by Tundu Abiola very brilliant. The MKO Abiola name is a family legacy, and no individual, child or not, should be allowed to soil it for selfish gains. And then we have Akin Alabi saying, I see nothing wrong with using your father's name for a campaign. It is because people don't like the person she used it for. If Abiola's daughter used it for their fave, no one would budge. Well, we had back and forth with people responding to Akin Alabi, and it felt like everybody was just all out for him. But here, I'll just take one of the last things he said. He said, that's Akin Alabi saying, I can't say that is false equivalence. Someone said she meant in generosity. I'm not close to Bello to know if he's generous. If he's truly generous and she says they share that quality, that's in order for me. I can use my father's name even when my siblings are not happy. And then we have Vantage _ Switch. That will be the last one we'll take before we get to talk about it. Vantage _ Switch says, that's exactly the point. Every Yoruba person knows that you should never use your family name in a way that would bring disrespect to the name. Using the name isn't a problem. Using it to support something, well, we have that there, is unacceptable. And that's the whole point. And I'm really tempted to talk about Rotilo, because Rotilo said something I think will serve as maybe a background for our conversation. Rotilo says, family name can be used by any child, up to them. It's not a simple case of not liking Yahaya Bello. The man has no record of achievement to run on. He's also empty. Now, those are not my words. With what we are facing in Nigeria, is creation of 20 million millionaires a reasonable thing to say? I'll start with you.
Well, it will be controversial, you know, the use of the name, but there's always a back and forth to it.
Yeah.
I understand the place of do not soil the family's name. It has a legacy to it and all. Although that those who would also question the legacy, it must be said.
Yeah,
you know, we've had those who tell you that the late Abiola was part of the you know, Shagari administration that was deemed corrupt. It benefited from it and all of that. But that's even an aside. Now, in the game of politics, you know, it's whatever you can leverage on, you make use of. Be it someone's name, a connection, whatever it is. The fact that she's the DG and she has decided to use her father's name in terms of quantifying or qualifying, you know, Yahaya Bello in terms of his generosity, I don't think it's out of place, really. I understand Tundu's perspective that, okay, the father
Tundu is always upfront when it comes to her father's name. It feels like she wants to protect a legacy. It feels like there's something that's been bequeathed to her and she wants to protect it.
I pretty much understand that stance, really. The father is seen as a symbol of democracy, you know, fight for democracy and all of that. I get it. But again, as I said, that reports that various quarters would also tell you that name was also sold even before 1993 or Hope 93 as it were. Now, the issue is this. The father is seen as a symbol of democracy and all of that. The Yaya Bello she's supporting, and she likened him to the father in terms of his generous heart. Is he a dictator and all of that? You want to put all those things in perspective.
Is Yaya Bello generous, looking at the fact that salaries are being owed in the state?
I'm not a Kogi state indigent, so I don't know. Maybe our producer will. But having said that, just to wrap up,
okay.
I think I understand Tundu's position that okay, this is someone that majority do not deem as credible or competent enough, so do not associate him with our father's name. I get that standpoint. But as she said, the same way Tundu has the right to protect the father's name and use it for whatever cause she believes is just, you also have
every other child probably has the same right. Okay, I want to hear what you have to say.
MKO Abiola has a lot of children. and every of his child has the right to his
use the name.
Every of his child has the right to be associated to him. So if the person, from my perspective, like it's a family thing, I would not really want to delve so much into because it's a family thing, but because it's been brought to social media, and as journalists, broadcast journalists, I am authorized to talk about it, even though I'm not supposed to delve too deep in it. But what I would just say is, MKO Abiola has so many children, and each children has the right to the name. So if Wushi is, for instance, if Hafsat associated the name with a known terrorist that everyone knows that this guy is nothing to write him about, you could say no, that's not the legacy Abiola lives for. But well, she is a DG, and I can liken my father to someone else, to you. For instance, I could say my father is a democratic he's Mr. Opera. Chidi Opera is an amazing person just like you. Doesn't mean that I'm using his name out of place because he's my father. My sister can decide not to do that. It's her choice. So it's a family thing. Like I said, he had so many children, and every child has the right within the fact that within the confines of not going overboard, especially soiling the name. If it's not a dent to the name of Abiola being the kind of person he was.
Well, she probably feels it's a dent.
Yeah, but then is it really a dent?
Well, it depends on who our favorite is.
Exactly.
In this regard, our favorite is. So if it was our favorite politician, would she say it's a dent?
But again, is it really a dent to ask?
The man in question is not a military head of state, so you can't say he's opposing what Abiola stood for in terms of democracy as against dictatorship.
But maybe she's looking at good governance and service delivery.
What is your definition of good governance? How do you measure good governance?
Well, Kogites will tell you a lot of things if you ask them. But our producer is from Kogi State. She might just chip in a thing.
But then some other person too might see him as a good leader. So that's why what's your standard for good governance?
A lot of doctors have resigned from that state, and they are in other states.
Well, like I also said, it's a family thing.
I worked there for about 2 or 3 years.
So are you standing with Tundu, or you're standing with
I'm not standing with either of them. I'm just saying that I understand where Tundu is coming from.
Exactly.
And I also understand where Hafsat is coming from. Exactly. I think Hafsat made it clear by saying she's likening both of them
not
as a person, just specific.
So I believe Tundu should have just stuck with that. I mean, she was specific.
It's specific. No matter how bad someone is, they have
generosity. So
and the truth is, you can never like the entire qualities of a person or characteristics. There will always be 1 or 2 things that will stand out. The same way there will be flaws, and you probably just have to stick with 1 or 2. At the end of the day, she streamlined it to generosity. It was specific, and I think that's the context. Tundu should also respond.
Definitely. Thank you so much. We'll move on to the second one. Well, for the second one, it's a very sad story, and this is what we have on social media, and yes, we hope this is exactly what the story is. A lady identified as Favor and known as Natasha has allegedly been assaulted by her madam, Mrs. Amechi, in India. According to a source, Amechi allegedly trafficked Favor and 20 other girls to India for prostitution. The victims are expected to pay her 4 million naira when they arrive in India or work for her to make up that amount. Favor was assaulted by her boss for being unable to meet up the amount she was expected to remit. She explained to Amechi that she had been battling an infection alongside her constant menstrual flow. The latter refused to hear her plea, stating that the task force chairman of Mumbai ordered her to do whatever she has to do to make the money. Amechi beats the victim profusely and threatens to make her blind if she doesn't bring in money. Now, we're going to talk about this, but before then, I think it's important we see the video of this particular lady. We have her video where she was actually really crying, and that's going to be coming up very soon. Okay. All right, so let's talk about this. You could see the video. She has swollen eye, and she was really crying. And you could even hear the voice of the madam from the background saying, "Hey, I beat her" or something. It wasn't so audible, but you could hear the madam like, giving credence to the fact that she was actually beaten up. Now, my point is, what has the task force chairman got to do with this matter? Does it mean that this particular issue, prostitution, is instituted in the country? Because I'm wondering, what has he got to do with the matter?
Well, I wouldn't know for that state, but we know quite well that prostitution is legalized in some countries, and there are regulations to that sector in how the act or the acts should also be carried out. Having said all of that, there's the place of assault here. More importantly, it probably shines the light on irregular migration and how people just try to travel by all means, and they fall into the hands of very dubious people who pose as agents or middlemen who can provide jobs and all of that. We've had this recurring. Remember last year we lost a Nigerian in Ivory Coast who was also subjected to prostitution and all the things. The truth is, we would keep on encouraging people to. I understand the nation has its challenges and things are seemingly better in certain climes, but the encouragement or the advocacy would be that people should travel by the legal means. When you travel through various
illegal
dubious
routes.
agents and all of that, these are some of the things you find out that you're either trafficked as a sex slave or for labor, among other things. Hopefully she gets justice or she gets free from the bondage she's in right now.
Absolutely. You want to say something?
What I want to say, Samson said it, people should travel through the legal means. I remember having this conversation on the show where we were talking about the fact that a lot of people died on the sea while trying to migrate. We talked about some reasons for migrating, from leaving, having to subject yourself to that kind of stress to go through some deserts. We had a journalist talk about it. There was also a movie that's an enaction of a life event that happened, and it was acted as a movie, and we also saw that task force in the other country was also aware. So when you talk about the task force, we tell that they work hand in hand, right? According to what stories that have been published, heard, and live movies that has been played. So when we look at the fact that people should travel through legal means, and also the fact that no matter how bad your country is, there's also a need to take care of yourself. And the government should really look into this issue of trafficking. I think that's where the problem starts from. It's the root cause of it. So it's enough to talk about it from the surface, but what about the root cause? What's making people leave? What's that making people leave the country and doesn't mind all the stress? So that's what I have to say.
Well, there will be a whole lot to say. I'll just share one thought. That's from Kingsley Official 247. Say, when you were signing an agreement with her, you didn't tell us. Please pay up and stop disturbing us. Well, that some of us would say that's quite insensitive. And then another person says, Nigeria government, create jobs for your people. This girl just wanted a better life for her and her family. Well, kindness, empathy, and compassion are the very core of our humanity. When these die, we are reduced to lower animals. Be kind today. I am Perpetua Fasomi Peter.
All right, thank you so much, Perpetual, for that. Be kind. Kindness is just it sums everything up. If you're a kind person, a lot of things will be easy for you. Oh, well, that's it. We can take on Ivan Daybreak today. Thank you for joining us. Please do well to join us tomorrow, same time, same station, and more interesting conversations, programs after this. So please don't go anywhere. I'll leave you with a quote from Napoleon Hill. And this quote says, the starting point of all achievement is desire. The starting point of all achievement is desire. So once you desire it, you can just do it. And it's not as easy as it may sound, though, but just then it's a step, first of all. Then from step 1 step, 2 step, 3 step, before you know it, you are there. My name is Margaret Opara. Have an amazing day.
And I'm Samson Lady. Do have a great day.